Alia.
Hi. Hi, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this present. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, all good.
And then after we'll do a short Q&A session, okay? So ASDA is, oops. Let's see. So this presentation is going to be like, what is ASDA? Like, what are the resources that you can use for applying to dental school? What opportunities can you look for? And then the LECOM chapter. So ASDA is the American Student Dental Association. The background, it was founded in 1971. It's grown to be the largest student-led organization for dental students. And it represents dental students as well as pre-dents. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is basically the introduction into organized dentistry. So when you become a dentist, you're going to join like the ADA, which is the American Dental Association, or the state dental association. So like for Florida, it would be the FDA. So this is kind of like the introduction to that. So we're learning about involvement in organized dentistry through service, information, education, and then representation and advocacy. So we want to protect the rights and interests and the welfare of dental students. And ASDA introduces these students to lifelong involvement, like I said, in organized dental programs. So it's a collective voice of 86% of dental students. So the majority of dental students do join ASDA. We have about 23,000 members, and they advocate for policy change in favor of students in the profession regarding student debt, the licensure reform, and then we also had advocacy for COVID-19 action as well. So it's a simple way to describe the combined efforts of all the dental organizations such as ASDA, ADA, and other state societies. Some of the programs that they did regarding student debt is reducing student loan interest rates, providing refinancing opportunities, providing opportunities for loan forgiveness, scholarships, and grants. And then as far as licensure reform, they're working to develop and implement the licensure exams for dental students. And this, one of the important things was, as far as like COVID, when that happened, they changed it from a live patient exam to a mannequin exam just for that year for COVID, so that the students could graduate their board exams. So that's the kind of thing that ASDA like will advocate for. The resources that they have available, so getting into dental school, this is one of the biggest things is ASDA's guide for pre-dentals. So this is going to give you all the resources that you need for applying to dental school. They also have a publication called The Polished Pre-Dental. There's a bunch of webinars and videos that you'll have access to, as well as networking through national conferences. And then this is the ASDA Getting into Dental School Guide. So it's information on every single US dental school, the tuition, what are their requirements, if you need an undergraduate degree, what the degree options are, such as DND or DDS, and then also student perspectives are also included in that. So this is probably like the biggest resource that you'll have as joining ASDA as a pre-dental. So these are some of the options that you'll have for like webinars and videos that you'll get access to through your ASDA membership. And then Polished Pre-Dental is the magazine or the publication that ASDA puts out for pre-dental students. Some of the other opportunities that you'll get access to are Lobby Day on Capitol Hill, and that's where we go and lobby for different things in the dental field, such as you know, fluoridated water. That's just like a big example of things that people have lobbied for in the past, but those are kind of like issues that we would work for Lobby Day. Leadership conferences, so NLC, every district will put on a leadership conference as well. And then that one will be in Chicago, and then the annual session is what every district in ASDA will do. So networking and mentorship, you have access to meet and connect with other pre-dental students across the nation. And then District 5 ASDA mentorship program. So this connects you guys as pre-dentals with current dental students that are also within the District 5. And on the next slide, I'll show you. So in District 5 ASDA, you have Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Puerto Rico dental schools. So for Florida, we have UF, Nova, and LECOM. And so you'll connect with a student from District 5 as a pre-dental, and then you can have like kind of one-on-one access to them to ask them what kind of questions you have or get their insight on like your application process and that kind of thing. You can follow pre-dental ASDA 5 on Instagram and Facebook. And then for LECOM ASDA, we participate in District 5 mentorship program. So we match with people that want to go to dental school that are pre-dentals. So we match our ASDA students with you guys as pre-dents. You can also get involved with Give Kids a Smile Day, because we do that here at LECOM. So that's a volunteer opportunity. So you can serve children that are in need of dental services. And then obviously the spring and fall pre-dental days. So we're doing the fall pre-dental day on October 9th. And then the spring pre-dental day we'll be planning for the spring semester. The fall one is currently full. So just be on the lookout on the Instagram and Facebook for the spring information.
Regina, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I don't think we can see the screen. I think it's stuck on the Getting into Dental School guide slides.
Okay, I'm gonna share my computer screen.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
Okay. I'm almost done with this. It's okay. Sorry, I had my PowerPoint pulled up. Can you see it now?
I think everyone, you'd have to switch. I think you're sharing two screens, so I could see. Can everyone see it now?
Yeah, it says
I can.
LECOM ASDA participants. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
so this is the Instagram, the pre-dental ASDA 5, if you guys didn't miss that information. And then this is just, these aren't really that important. You can kind of just get the gist of it. I don't think you missed much. Okay, so this is for the District 5 pre-dental, and then for LECOM specific. So we participate in District 5 because we're part of the Florida dental schools. And then you can follow us on LECOM ASDA on Instagram or LECOM ASDA pre-dental day on Facebook. So this is the information of how to join ASDA. Sorry. And then, so it's asdanet.org/join. It's $71 per year. So that's as a pre-dental student. And then once you're in dental school, I think it's $100 membership per year. But there's like a lot of other perks that you're getting as a dental student. So that's why the cost goes up a little bit. So then your membership is through the year. And yeah, that's about it as far as the pre-dental. As a
Sorry to
presentation.
interrupt you. Quick question. It said there that if we pay it, it's only active until December of this year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a year-long membership. I think it's January through December 31st. And that's through ASDA, like the organization.
So does that mean that if we got, like, would we get last year's only until this December 2021?
I don't think it goes by like the date that you paid. It starts like in January and the membership goes through December. So you just get access for like that year, the rest of that year. So if you just wanted to buy it like for 1 year, you could buy it now and then have like the access until December. And you probably wouldn't need to renew it next year because you get like the pre-dental guide and like that sort of thing. Or you could wait until the new year and join then. Or if you wanted to join for both, you could do that. But I'll go ahead and open up the floor to anybody who has any questions, and then we'll just kind of go and answer you guys here. I don't know if there's questions in the chat already. You can either put like a little raise your hand on the screen, or if I don't see that, just like speak up because there's a lot of people in the meeting, it might be hard to see. But you guys can ask questions about dental school, LECOM, pre-dental, just getting into school, our experience, ASDA, whatever you guys have questions on, like we're open for anything.
Yeah, ask us anything you want. I know when I was at pre-dental, I had a lot of questions, so don't be shy, just like ask questions. Everyone has questions.
I have a question. So what was the interview like? I know that the interview, there's like a group component or something. So how was your interview day?
Yeah. Our interview is actually different from other schools because we have like a group interview. And that's kind of like LECOM's biggest thing is everything is kind of in groups. So when you get to dental school here and if you get in, like you'll notice like the classes are in groups and like we kind of have like a PBL, which is a problem-based learning, and that's also in groups, and that's how we learn like our basic sciences and stuff. So they want to see how you kind of are in a group and if you can like be part of a group and bounce off ideas of each other and kind of help each other out and stuff. So my interview was different from I think most people's interview. Mine was kind of they gave us like a scenario and then they said, okay, this side is like pro whatever the scenario was, and then this side is con, and like just go at it and have like a debate kind of thing. And I thought that was fun. It was different. So I don't think you didn't have that, right?
What?
The pros and cons like interview scenario in your interview. Was yours kind of like you went around like answering questions?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like more of a casual conversation and just questions and just people like bounced off of each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a scenario. It's pretty relaxed.
Yeah. They ask you like, so they'll give you like an ethical scenario, for example, and then they'll say, what would you do in this situation? And then, so like Mary would answer, and then I might say, yeah, Mary brought up a really good point about blah, blah, blah. So like just going off of that, I wanted to, add to that I think this is also really important. And then the admissions committee sees that, you acknowledge someone else, what their viewpoint was, and that, you appreciated their viewpoint, and that you're not just trying to, make yourself like, I mean, obviously you want to make yourself look good, but you also want to show that you can work with other people and that you can hear what they're saying and you like appreciate what they're saying. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Ariana, I think you can ask, like, I think you can just go ahead and
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't want to interrupt, so I was waiting. Hi, guys. So I kind of wanted to know what made you guys pick LECOM, in comparison to other schools.
I think for me, everyone has like their different like reason as to why they chose LECOM, but for me, it was mainly the location. I lived in Clearwater, and so that was like this was the closest school to that. So I wanted to be close. Clinical experience is really good, and I asked like someone that went here, and I came to pre-dental day actually when I was a pre-dental student, and they had like the most clinical experience out of all the Florida schools, and I definitely wanted to stay in Florida. We start going to clinic D1 year, which is like kind of surprising. And then until 2 years ago, everyone got their own like clinic. So like everyone got their own operatory. And so that was nice. Because of COVID, we had to kind of share now, and we're 13 people in a clinic pod of 10. So we like sometimes there's people that don't have like a spot or something, but there's always something else to do. But I know like UF and other schools share, they have like partners kind of thing because they don't have space for everyone. So like you'll do like, let's say you're doing extractions, like, oh, you extract this one tooth and then like I'll do the other because they don't have space to have like everyone's patients. So for us, we have like our own patients. We see them whenever we can. We're pretty much like booked right now, like all of us are booked till like for 2 months and stuff like that. So we have like our own schedule, our own patients, which is nice. And we're like a clinic. So it's like a pod of 10, 13 people. And then that's just, yeah. How about you?
It was mainly location as well for me. I live in Tampa, so it was pretty convenient. And I had a couple of friends who went here throughout the years and they've graduated from here. And so far they're successful and they love their experience. So I also just wanted to come here, and the clinic, just like Mary said, the opportunities are really nice. You get to have so many preceptors that you can have one-on-one discussions with them, ask them any questions you want. And it's been really nice so far.
Yeah, I would say like their reasoning is one of the main reasons why I came here. I interviewed at 6 schools, and like honestly, the interview, like now you guys don't really get to come and see the school, but this school was like the newest school out of all of the schools that I went to, because a lot of the state schools are very old. They're like 100 years old, so their clinics are kind of outdated, and they have new equipment usually, but it just like kind of felt like dingy in there a little bit, honestly. LECOM's like a brand new school, so everything in here is like bright, airy, clean, really nice. So that was like, when I saw it, I was like, okay, I really like that school. But the clinic time was like a big thing for me, because you start here in clinic your first year. And like I did a master's at University of Louisville's dental school, and their students would be like, I am so nervous to start clinic 3rd year, because they had never been in clinic, they had never touched a patient, and they were, freaking out. But we start hygiene clinic 1st year, we're doing cleanings 1st year. Then we start denture clinic in the summer that year. And so we start working on patients from the get-go. So you just get thrown right into it. And by the time you're full-time in clinic your 3rd year, you're kind of already used to that patient interaction. So it's not like a hurdle that you have to jump through. So that was like a big thing for me. And then also just when I came here, I felt like the atmosphere was a lot more, I guess like team-based, and like, yeah, it was a lot calmer than I felt like at the other schools. Like I felt a really high competition, like when I went there, and everyone was like trying to be number 1, the best. And that's like great. I mean, obviously everyone that wants to go to dental school is usually an overachiever, but I liked that everyone was kind of like very friendly and they wanted to help you. And I really feel like that with our class, like the atmosphere at LECOM is very accommodating. And so if you're struggling, people will help you. You'll have like anything you need, like there's someone there that will kind of get you through. So I really like the atmosphere here. I think it's very like accommodating and friendly. Okay, Clara just came on. She is also a 3rd year, and she can answer some questions too. I don't know if she's gonna get on the video, but she is in the chat. Oh, there
Hey
she
guys.
is.
Sorry, I'm at the gym right now, but my name is Clara. I'm also a 3rd year, like she just said, and I went to FIU, so I wanted to stop by and say hi.
Yes, Clara went to FIU, so I asked her to come to this meeting. Okay, so Clara, answer a question that we got. It says in the chat, I'm trying to see. Would you recommend majoring in a science in undergraduate studies?
The only reason why I say yes is because it's going to expose you more to a lot of the topics that we go over. So you'll probably feel a little more ready, because we do take a lot of like the core science classes still. I mean, regardless, they're prereqs, but given that you're exposed to it more as a science major, you'll be a lot more prepared. But it's not necessary. We have people that were like accountants and engineers and all types of different majors, so it's not required.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Avia Parker.
Hi, it's Avia. I didn't know, I'm doing a little bit of research. Is it Jenny or do you prefer Regina?
Yeah, my name's Regina, but I just go by Jeannie.
Oh, Jenny. Okay, cool. So I saw that you went to University of Louisville. I'm actually from Kentucky.
Okay.
Grew up in Lexington. So I was wondering, I'm just insinuating that you applied to UK as well as perhaps Louisville. Curious as to what made you choose LECOM over those 2 schools?
Yeah, so I wasn't from Kentucky, I'm from Ohio. And so I was out of state for both of those. The tuition was so much higher for out of state tuition. LECOM is a private school, so we don't go by in-state versus out of state. Everyone pays the same fee. And it is actually like significantly lower than you would pay if you went to an out of state dental school. Because usually like, so it was like 35 for in-state in Kentucky and then like 75 out of state. But at LECOM, it was definitely lower than to go like out of state for that. And then the clinic time, like that was a big thing at Louisville. They have every single specialty residency program. And I'm pretty sure they have like 4 or 5 specialties at University of Kentucky. So that's another thing. LECOM doesn't have specialty programs. We just have the DMD degree. We don't have like a residency in ortho or like pediatrics, endodontics. We don't have specialty programs. So when you get a patient at those schools, a lot of times they would make you refer your patient up to the pros clinic or to the perio clinic or to the ortho clinic. But here you keep those patients and you get to work on them as long as like the procedure is approved by your faculty. So I saw like a ton of students sending their patients up to like the residencies to do the work that I would have wanted to do. And I was just like, I honestly like really liked LECOM not having those residency programs because I just wanted to get as much experience as I could. So that was like another like huge thing that drew me here. But I mean, if you do want to specialize, you probably do get a little bit more of a feel for like getting to shadow in those specialty clinics because they have, you know, access to them. We have an AEGD program here, but we don't have like any specialty programs. Which doesn't detract from the fact that people that go here do get into specialties. Like pretty much everyone that applies to residency does get a match. Might not be their top school, but they do match. And so we don't have an issue with people getting in. We just don't have those programs at LECOM.
Yeah, there's probably a misconception that people think that going to a school that doesn't have residencies wouldn't get you into a residency. So I think we don't have a lot of people in our school that want to become want to specialize. So you also don't have a lot of competition. If you do want to specialize, I feel like it would be a smart move to come to LECOM, and then you won't have as much competition as if you went to a school that has a bunch of specialties and everyone's trying to compete against each other and specialize, and that's probably why they're way more competitive. So I think it would be a good option to come here if you want to specialize, because you get like way more experience that you can put down on a resume and stuff, and you have this like we have all the specialists that would help you. And if you tell them like from the get, like, hey, I want to specialize, I want to become an oral maxillofacial surgeon, then they're gonna get you good cases, they're gonna help you get there, you know. So it would be good to come here for if you want to specialize as well.
Great, thank you so much. That was actually one of my questions as far as the tuition differences in state, out of state versus private. Just a
private is the same for like anybody, but the in-state and out-of-state will get you, so you got to pay attention to that.
Just one quick question, what did you major in at Louisville?
They have an oral biology program, so it's a master's degree. I did my undergrad in Ohio in a tiny little school in biology. So I did the oral biology program at Louisville, and that's
at Louisville. Okay, awesome, thank you.
I know Clara's answering things in the chat box. Did we not get to a question there?
Yeah, I have another question, sorry.
Okay.
I already graduated with my bachelor's in bio, but I did Bachelor of Arts, so I had to take some other prereqs for dental school that I'm finishing up now. And some of my friends have applied for master's programs, and I just know that you mentioned that you did a master's program. What kind of drove you to do that? Because I'm very back and forth on whether I should just full send and just apply in June, or try and get a master's and see how that works out and then apply for dental school. So I'm kind of back and forth on what would be the right thing or the best thing.
Did you already apply?
No, I haven't
So
applied.
you never applied to dental school? I mean, I would say shoot your shot. Like, you haven't applied yet, so you haven't been turned down. But if you don't get into dental school and like you see a part of your application that might be weaker, such as your GPA or your DAT score, you're gonna need to focus on that before you reapply if you don't get in this round. So like, you can't just reapply with the same statistics. And I did that. And I thought, oh, like I'm just gonna reapply and maybe I'll get in. And I didn't. And then at that point I was like, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? And that was like, okay, I want to do this, but I have to do something like to bring my, resume up. So that's when I did the master's degree. I had like decent scores, but I didn't have anything like out of this world. So I retook my DAT, I did the master's program, and then I got into a bunch of the schools I applied to. So you want to make yourself a strong candidate, but if you've never applied, I would say just apply. Like, what's the worst that can happen? In the meantime, like, figure out your plan B. If you don't get in, apply to a master's program as well, so that you're not just like sitting there waiting around, So that would be my advice.
Thanks. No, yeah, I mean, I'm new. I know a lot of us are new into like applying and stuff, so we may not have that much guidance. So that does help because I never know where to look or who to ask.
Yeah, we can put our emails in the chat too. So if you guys have like questions, you can just email us.
We'd really appreciate that.
question.
Thank you so much.
Quick question. Do you guys think it's too late to apply right now in September?
I applied in December.
I would apply ASAP.
Some of the programs close by like,
Yeah, it was
some of them
different.
close early, like October or
Yeah.
November, but like LECOM like accepts applications through February. And they don't really do the thing where like, obviously first come, like you have more chances of your application getting looked at. But if you have a strong application and you get in, like, see what happened with me is they had already sent out their December acceptance letters and I applied like the next week. So I was like, I had good statistics at this point. Like I had just gotten my new DAT score and I had my master's thing and I sent all that information to LECOM and it was like, my application was finalized like December 10th. And I was like at probably one of the top of their list because they had already looked at all the really good applications from the summer. And so then they were like starting, you know, to relook at the applications that they hadn't seen already. So that was like, I just got in like right at a good time. But if you have a good application, I would say like applying late, you should still apply.
Yeah, my concern is I have a lot of years of experience and I have a really good GPA. My DAT score wasn't great, so I was thinking of retaking it. But if I do retake it, I have to wait until like beginning of December.
Yeah.
So either I
Retake
submit
it,
my
get a
application-
solid score and send them in. That's my advice
I
because
would-
it
I
worked
would-
for me.
Yeah, I would apply, like you can
Fill the
submit
application,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
And then just leave that DAT and
Pending,
don't send
yeah.
it, like leave it pending so at
They
least you
know,
got
yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
And then submit it as soon
Yeah.
as you get it in.
So
A
then I should
solid
wait until I
score-
retake the DAT to submit it, right? Have everything ready. and
Yeah,
wait till I retake
it just won't be finalized. Like put everything in and send it and they'll just be waiting on your DAT score to review your application. But so I saw a question, it was like, what is competitive? The admissions lady Shannon says, I think 1920 is what
That was,
more competitive now.
back then, yeah.
Yeah, so
1920.
I think you want to
1920,
be over like 20
Mhm.
over now. It's
Yeah.
gotten more competitive. There's a lot of people that want to be in dental school. So
Yeah.
definitely shoot for like more than 20.
yeah. GPA, look at your science GPA separate from
Overall.
your overall, but like a 3.5 I think is like pretty good, but obviously like 3.7 is even more competitive. Yeah, Clara said in the chat, like you can look up the averages on the website and in the ASDA pre-dental guide.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
prenatal guide was really helpful. I remember I would look up every single school and I would see like their GPA and their DAT and which state they accepted students from and what they're looking for. So it fluctuates. You'll find dental schools that their average is like 3.2 and you'll find dental schools where their average is 3.7. And I remember it was like $20 a year. I'm not sure exactly where we can find it. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, I did in the ASDA pre-dental the presentation at the beginning. You get the pre-dental guide with your ASDA membership as a pre-dental student. So you can go on the asdanet.org, I think it was the website. And
we can write it down for you
yeah.
guys.
You can find everything on there.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
extremely
so the
useful.
pre-dental membership is $71, but I'm pretty sure you can buy the pre-dental guide separately if you just want the pre-dental guide. But the ASDA membership itself is $71, and that includes the pre-dental guide.
Also, something that I wanted to mention, it's kind of unrelated to the questions, but I thought it was interesting. LECOM has a lot of Spanish-speaking patients, and since we're talking to FIU, I know most of us are Hispanic. So as a Hispanic, you're kind of guaranteed patients. So that's one of the huge benefits of coming to LECOM. Just an FYI.
Yeah, like Mary speaks Spanish in our clinic and she never has an opening because she's booked solid, like every appointment is taken, like she has all the patients she could possibly want and like a list out the door. Of
He
people
hands
that, like,
patients out.
Yeah.
They're like candy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're booked. If you speak Spanish, you're gonna be booked. Every clinic. So what they did, they didn't accept a bunch of Hispanics this in our year. I don't know
Yeah.
why. But there's only like 10 of us, and there's like 10 clinics. So pretty much in every clinic they have one of us, and we're booked. Like we don't have space for like 3 months out. So if you speak Spanish, definitely like consider LECOM, because you're not gonna have like a lot of competition with like other Hispanics, because not a lot of people come here. They probably go to Nova and stuff. So yeah, something to think about. Mary has a question. Marie?
Yeah. Marie?
We can't hear you. She's unmuted, but we can't hear her.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There was a question in the chat. It said, what is something you wish you would have known before applying and after being accepted or attending dental school?
Hello.
Oh, she got it. We'll answer this question really quick first, and then we'll get to you, Marie, okay?
Something I wish I knew. Probably just like not like tell myself like don't stress too much about it, because I was really scared about dental school. I thought it was gonna be like this like the worst thing ever, and like I was gonna be studying nonstop and like wouldn't have any friends. Like I literally thought I was gonna be like with a bunch of nerds that like weren't gonna talk to me ever, and I wasn't gonna have friends, and I was just gonna be miserable, and like it was gonna be horrible. I don't know why I thought that. That was my
too. I literally
conception of
thought that
dental
too,
school. I was like, I'm not gonna have friends, but it was like the complete opposite. Like everyone is so friendly. Like you make friends with like pretty much everyone in your class. They're not nerds at all. We're just
Some of them
like
are.
some of them, but like for the majority of the part, like the class, like everyone's really cool, very chill, like friendly. Like we all go out and like hang out and stuff. So it's been fun, like way more fun than I thought it
Yeah.
would be.
I think like I was gonna say something similar. Like the one thing I wish I knew was like I'm 29, so I took like 5 years in between graduating undergrad and then getting into dental school, which I did the master's in between there, but I was still like 5 years. And I like was trying so hard to get in for so long, and I was like, man, if it's this hard to get in, like I can't imagine how hard dental school is. And like applications and applying was the most stressful time in my life up to this point. Like everyone says that D2 year is the most stressful year of dental school because you're doing so many classes. Applications and applying was worse for me. And I don't know if it's the same for everyone. Like people who have really high GPA, really high DHE, really good everything, it might not be like that for you. But for me, I had a really hard time getting in. And that was definitely worse than anything I experienced in dental school. So it's once you get in, it's like, that's the hardest part. And my boyfriend kept telling me that because he went through dental school as well. And he's like, this is the hardest part. Like, you just got to get in. And then once I got here, I was like, you're right. It was way harder. I mean, the workload's a lot, but it's totally manageable, I think.
We all like help each other, so it's like doable because we have each other, and we have like 100 and like 4 other students going through the same thing with you, and like you're just all going through it together. You're all helping each other, so it's like it's very doable once you're like past that process, like the application process, DAT, all that. That's all very stressful, and you're doing it like pretty much on your own. So once you're here, it's way better. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Marie, we
Yeah,
can
Marie.
ask your question.
It was in regards to what you guys were talking about before. I was wondering if the ethnicity also played a big part in the application, and if so, like, do we have to put our ethnicity, and do they have certain quotas in regards to how much of each minorities they're going to accept in each schools?
Honestly, I think they do.
But they
I
don't tell.
I don't think they tell you they do, but I think they do. So I would put your ethnicity if you're like a minority, because that might help.
But I know
It's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna
like,
hurt you. It's only gonna help you. So I would put it.
if it's not going to help me, like I'm allowed not to put it right, because I know also that, well, from my research is for example, Asians or minorities, but it might play against you to actually put this in your application. So I'm like actually wondering if like, is it like, do you have to, or is it just like,
I don't think you have to.
You don't have to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'm just saying, like, it's not gonna hurt because they want to have minorities.
They want to make it
And
more
they-
diverse, just like any other school. I
Yeah.
feel like the goal is to make the class as much diverse as possible, which is what we've been seeing
Yeah.
throughout, like our class, the class below us, and the one,
The
the
D1
D1s. They're
class,
all
yeah.
like, it's pretty diverse. Every year it gets even more diverse than
Mm-hmm.
the previous. So it's up to you, like they said, but I don't think.
I don't think it's gonna hurt you
Mhm.
either way.
There was like a question about
I think Claire's got the
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
on the chat.
Someone said like, what else should you focus on besides your DHE score and your GPA?
Like which one to focus on?
Yeah, it says, what do you guys think is important besides DAT and GPA for the resume?
Oh my God.
Like
Volunteering,
shadowing.
shadowing.
Yeah.
Like any dental experience.
Yeah,
Shadowing, assisting dental assistants, literally anything in the dental
Any
office.
extracurricular
Yeah.
that you can do. If you're a student athlete, we have a bunch of student
Uh-huh.
athletes.
Any hand skills that you can develop, like literally if you play the guitar, if you draw, if you do play, if you bake, anything like with hand skills, they also look at. So if you have a hobby, you can just, work on that. Because you can mention it in the application and interviews.
I think that one thing that they do is they like screen with the GPA and DAT scores. Like if you have really low of that and you have like 1,000 hours of like volunteering, that's not enough. Like you have to have acceptable scores. But if you have like all that other stuff, like if that should be the main focus for you guys is like your GPA and your DHE scores. But if you're like adding on other things, like what they're saying is like what you should look at. Like if you have solid scores and you're like, what's missing?
Yeah.
They want to see a well-rounded application. They don't want to see someone that, only has a good GPA and then they don't have a good DHE score and they have 1,000 hours of volunteering. Like, don't volunteer, go and study for the DAT and retake it. It's kind of like, they want to see like you're balanced and
Yeah.
you don't have to have every single thing perfect, but you have to have like some of everything. Cause then, they know like this person is smart, they can pass their tests, they have like experience working with other people, they care about the community, like those kinds of things. They want to see like well-rounded, I would say. Yeah.
They just want to make sure you're not going to fail out of dental school and like that you can at least like study and like pass your exam so they can keep you for the whole 4 years and you don't fail out like the first year you come in, you know what I mean? But as long as you have like your minimum scores, like, I don't know, say like 18, 19, probably, then like, and then a good GPA, then you should be fine. And then just do extracurriculars to like add on to the application.
Yeah, I think like extra important because they want to see that you're a sociable,
Yeah.
huge factor. Like if you're extremely awkward or you really patient sometimes, I mean, it's not gonna it's not end all be all type thing, but try to at least appear like, you're confident and social.
I think a big
Oh, this is my friend Wiz. She's
Hi.
also a D3.
I know like a big question that I got asked was like what I did in your gap year. I think they just kind of like once you get screened past all the scores and everything, they just want to make sure that, like they said, you're a well-rounded person. So don't forget about that. It's not just about the scores. You got to think about everything else too.
There's a question that is just asking about other dental school advice, like for other schools that you applied to. It's kind of like the same thing. I think LECOM is looking for the same thing that everyone else is. I interviewed at Midwestern in Chicago, not Arizona. And then I applied at Nova, but I didn't get an interview. I don't know about you guys.
I went to the Nova interview. I think I forgot what they were. Their interview was completely different from here. It was with the dean, I think, and it was just you and him. I had like a really funny experience when I went there because every student that I would walk past would be like, don't come here. And I'm like, okay, if they're saying that, like maybe I just shouldn't. So they actually put me in like the wait list, and then I just got myself out of it. Because I was like, I'm probably not gonna want to go there. And I really liked LECOM. Like I said, I wanted to come here for the location mainly. And so it was like the closest to home. But yeah, I mean, still go to every single if you get interviews,
Go to the interviews.
I would suggest go to the interviews. The best way for you to find like your place, like what you like and what you're gonna feel more comfortable in is going there, and don't just like go to the interview and leave. Like if you think it's like a school that you would want to be at, like go around, like go in the city and like see if you can see yourself living there, like look up like the rental prices, and then like go around the school, talk to people, ask them like, do you actually like this school? Like don't just like stay in the little bubble like the interview and then go back to like the airport and go home. Like try to talk to people and there and ask them like, do you actually like this school? Like what do you think? Are you like, do you recommend me coming here? Like things like that. Okay, so don't just like go to the interview and then like leave.
Something I would like to add though is I personally kind of went through a little bit of a culture shock moving to Bradenton, given how different it was from Miami. I mean, it's not like that serious, but Bradenton is very, very relaxed. There's not much that happens here. So that was a little different, but it is extremely safe. And that's a benefit. Like if you're out and about pretty late, it's not as dangerous as Miami. And someone in the chat said, if you don't speak Spanish, does that mean you will get less patients? No, I'm actually not Hispanic. I don't speak Spanish at all. And I have plenty of patients. It's just, if you do speak Spanish, you get like an instantly added benefit because there are a lot of Spanish speaking patients. But yeah, like Mary said, go visit every city, explore, have fun with your interviews. Like they're not that serious. Ultimately, you're going to get in somewhere. You'll be fine.
Harold has a question.
Hey, how are you? I have a question about, is there any way that we can actually just visit the school, or is there any like dates just to go visit it or something like that? Or just because of COVID right now it's just not allowed?
Only pre-dental day. LECOM is a locked facility, like only students can get in and faculty. So we wouldn't allow just like visiting the school. It would just be like if you come for pre-dental day, which we really like highly recommend. I came to pre-dental day and that's when I knew like I wanted to come here. Because they tour you around the school and they show you everything. So I would highly recommend doing pre-dental day next spring if you can.
Yeah, so the fall one is full, but we'll be planning one for the spring if you guys want to keep an eye out for that one.
Sure, thank you. So when is the next one you said, in fall?
The fall date is October 9th, but it's full because we can't have as many people as we normally do just because of COVID restrictions. So
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, let's take like one or so more questions. I think we're about out of time.
Does anyone have?
Taylor, Clara put her email in the chat and we'll put ours in the chat too. Research, someone asked about research, is obviously not required for anything, but they like, that's another thing that helps with your application. They can see like the diversity of like how you spend your time. And a lot of the information that we learn comes from research studies. So if you know how research works and the types of studies and the types of techniques that are used to research, the faculty like to see that on your application. So if you have that opportunity, you should. And then as far as like how to get involved in a project, what I did was I kind of just went around and found faculty that did research either in a dental school or even in the science department. You can do anything like biochemistry, research, chemistry, anything. Just find a faculty that's doing something and ask them if they have anything that you could kind of get on board with. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I did research at FIU, and the way that I went about it is I went to the website, like the program, like the biology department, whatever. And I literally just emailed a bunch of random professors and I'm like, yo, can I join your research? Most of them said, yes, you apply. It was really easy. I didn't do like all the applications and stuff. I just personally contacted them and they let me in. So that's what I did when I went to FIU. And I wasn't like super active in the research, just enough.
Just to put your name on it.
Yeah.
Okay, we can take one more question if you guys have one, but we'll put our name and our emails in the group chat if you guys have any questions.
I have another one but it's just outside of, basically the dental thing. If somebody else has one actually related to the program, go ahead. Mine is just about housing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we can answer that. But someone asked about the DAT study program. I kind of just did self-study in Kaplan, like self-study. But then when I retook it and I got a better score, I did DAT boot camp and I focused on their program and like followed it to the T. And I went from an 18 to a 21. So if you take all their practice exams, all of their answer all the questions and do the program that they have laid out for you, it will get you a good score.
Yeah, I did. I had a friend that bought the iPrep study program. It was
Clara,
really
yeah.
expensive. Clara did it. It was really expensive, so that's why I didn't get it. But my friend did, so she kind of we would study together, and I would kind of do like her part on the iPrep. They gave you access to DAT bootcamp through that, and that's what I bought. So I used DAT bootcamp, and then I would study for like from like the iPrep stuff for biology. And I think I did like really well in biology, so I would recommend iPrep.
Yeah,
For like the biology section.
I did
it's
too.
Really good.
Boot camp had like their questions are like on the DAT.
They were
the actual questions.
The actual
yeah.
questions. So I would definitely recommend DAT bootcamp. If you can afford it, I would recommend iPrep.
So the other thing I would add to that is I'm telling you the DAT score is like what they care about. So it doesn't matter how much money it is, like get a babysitting job, get a side job for a couple months to pay for this, because if you get a good DAT score and you get into dental school, like that $500 is not going to matter.
Yeah.
Find someone to split the membership with. Like you guys are all pre-dentals, like you could 2 or 3 people could share it. And just share your logins with each other.
Yeah.
But like prepping for the DAT, and don't take the DAT because it costs like $300 or something to take it. Postpone your date if you're not getting the practice scores that you want. Like I had a Excel sheet and I had 10 practice exams and I wrote down the scores from every single practice exam. And I didn't sign up for the DAT. Like I didn't pick a date to take it until my practice scores were what I wanted on my actual exam. And then I ended up doing better. I ended up getting like 1 or 2 points higher. So set your goal. Don't take the actual exam because it's a waste of money. If you're just going to go and take it trying to like meet a certain date that you have in your head, like you're not going to get the score you want, don't spend the money to go do that. Just make sure you prep well for the DAT and spend the money to do one of these programs because that's really going to help you guys. That's like the only thing I wish someone would have told me. Like I was trying to save money. I was like, I don't need that.
Same.
Then I took it
save.
and didn't do well.
Like don't save the money. That's not where you want to save your
Yeah.
money. Like spend. If I would have done it all over again, I would have probably paid for iPrep, and then I would have gotten iPrep, and then I would have postponed my date a little further. I postponed it for like 2 months. Like I selected my date and then I postponed taking it for like another 2 months because you can change it after you select your date. I wish I probably would have done better if I had like practiced a little more. I only took like 2 practice exams, but yeah, like I would definitely buy iPrep. I would definitely recommend that if I was like doing all over again.
You can change the date, I think, if it's like within a couple weeks, and then if you change it within like a couple days, you have to pay like $100 to change it. So I changed my date. Like I started studying in June. I changed it to like September. Then I changed it to November. Then I changed it to December. I changed it 3 times because I still didn't get the practice scores that I wanted. And I just kept to every single Saturday, I took a full length practice exam. So like, you just have to commit to it. Like studying for the DAT is like what matters to you guys right now. Like just get the score.
Someone asked, I should take the DAT after I've taken organic chemistry, right?
Yes.
Yes, I think it wouldn't make sense to you if you didn't take organic chemistry. So I would definitely take that.
Yeah, there's a
first.
whole section on organic
Orgo.
chemistry. I mean, they teach you it in boot camp if you want to learn it in boot camp, but it'll be very
It's
confusing if you've
confusing.
never seen it before. So I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't do that to yourself. It's as stressful as it is. So if you're like familiar with it, it would help you a lot more.
Yeah.
What year though? A year before applications?
And then Harold, like the living situation at LECOM, we don't have any on-campus housing. It's just a dental building. That's it. So your classes are and your clinic is in the same building. So all the housing is off-site, but there's apartments. There's like 6 or 7 apartment complexes within a mile that are just like across the street from the school. People find roommates on the Facebook page after they get accepted. There's an online forum on LECOM's website that people find roommates on after you get accepted. And if you want to live by yourself, that's cool too. It's just a little bit more expensive. But you can get a house, you can get an apartment, kind of whatever you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, just to, get on it. I'm just wondering about like pricing. I mean, the things like, I live with my wife.
Yeah.
We have our apartment here, but if let's say that I get accepted into LECOM, then I have to move there. I just want to know, like around how much are the pricing for, renting and housing over there?
It's a little, so I don't think it's more expensive than Miami,
Yeah.
but it's like on the pricier end, like, because it's a newer, it's like, it's not Miami, like it's pricey for the area that you're living at, but it's a pretty area and it's like safe, but it's about, I think,
I would say, yeah,
1,200
like
to like
a
1,500.
1 bedroom. Yeah, 1 bedroom would be about like 11 to 1,500, and then the 2 bedroom might be like 1,500, and then
Mhm.
I rent a 2 bedroom now. I think it's 1,400.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice. It's like a resort apartment. So
Mhm.
it's like they have like a gym, and you can. They have a pool.
Yeah.
I would say like the average would be like 1,300.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we'll put our emails in the chat box if you have any more questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of them. We'll put our emails and maybe Instagram. I'm not gonna put my email because I'm not gonna answer.
Yeah,
that.
Mary has a
I'll put
dental
it-
Instagram.
I'll put my Instagram and then you guys can find me on there and ask me questions because I'll answer that for sure, but I'm not gonna look through my email, so.
Perfect. I'll send it over to our chat just in case for whoever wasn't here. But we really, really appreciate you guys coming in and speaking to us. I know you have super hectic schedules as well, and you're also students. So just taking the time to come to speak to us, we really appreciate it. So thank you so, so much.
No problem.
Good
Thank
luck to
you.
everyone applying.
Good luck. You guys got this.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.